Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Texas and Texans deserve best. I raised a point of order concern on House Resolution 2558 to try to stop the bleeding. While I knew it was the time of the session and I know it was going to be overruled, I thought it important to raise it because I think we need to really take a minute to look at what we're doing to Texans. There's no question that we had limited resources and no question that we have to make hard choices as legislators. I filed several bills during the session to help raise revenue because I came here with the same expectation that every member did. How do we make Texas stronger? How do we make it better? How do we make Texans stronger? And how do we get the best that they have to offer? Those bills were not considered because someone made a decision that we would not have new revenue on the table. Well, I understand that we probably passed bills that have about $100 million worth of fees on to the citizens of this state. We keep saying we're not raising revenue, but we're feeing them to death. We talk about not spending the rainy day fund. We need to hold and preserve some monies for the rainy day fund. It's flooding here. I don't know why everybody's not clear about that. It's flooding, and we need to be using those monies so that we can save the integrity of our state. And I just rise to say to you, I know many people say, well, why did you raise the point of order? And I just found myself limited in terms of what options are available to stop the pain. You know, I heard a lot of folks talk about less government is better. Less government is what we should be aspiring for. Well, I took a new tune. Less government means less pain to our citizens. And so I'll submit to you that Texas and Texans deserve better. HB 1 provides nothing but pain. And we ought to be ashamed that we couldn't figure out better ways to get there. You know, in 2006, the comptroller then told us we should expect this fiasco, this fiscal fiasco. We knew we built in a structural deficit in our budget. We knew that. Everybody that was here during the time, they're not surprised that there's a structural deficit. That's never been a question that there's a structural deficit. We voted on it. I voted no. But many of you passed it on. And so it faces us today. We talk about the taxes and exemptions that are out there. We say we don't want to raise taxes, but in fact, we've given those exemptions, and we are reluctant just to review whether or not there's a value to the state of Texas, but we pass paying over to the citizens. And I would just submit to you that as you vote for HB 1, I suspect it will pass. It will pass without my vote, obviously. I think we ought to really take a real stop and take a real look at what it is we're doing to people, what we're doing to Texas, what we're doing to Texans. And we got to ask ourselves, is this the best we can do? And if you think this is the best we can do, you're going to vote for this bill, I suspect. But if you think that we can do better by Texas, that Texas deserves more from us, and that less government will mean less pain, then you'll join me and vote no on this bill. This is not a budget that we can be proud of. We ought not put our children, our seniors, our services, we ought not make them secondary. We ought to be proud of what we say Texas is about. But how can we be proud and then undermine them by not funding it to the level it needs to be funded so that, in fact, we provide the services our citizens need? How can we go away knowing that we cut $15 billion and we left corporations making hundreds of billions of dollars from not paying taxes while citizens are struggling to pay their taxes? How can we be comfortable with that inequity? How can we say we are doing the best we can when we're leaving money in an account that's called a rainy day fund and not filling those gaps in our budget for children, for seniors, for education, for scholarships? How can we be comfortable with that? So I would just tell you that while I did my best by raising a point of order and stopping it, thinking less government would mean less pain, I accept that we have to vote on this budget, and I accept that it will probably pass. And I will tell you, members, that many of you Well, when you get home, we'll be asked the question, couldn't we do better? And I hope you'll take some time to think about it so that next year, next term, when we come back, or if it's in July or August, we make a commitment to govern Texas like we really are proud of it, and to govern Texas like we want it to be this great state that we often talk about, and to support those citizens that we call our constituents in a way that we'd have them support us. Thank you.